Ay, ay, ay. All right, guys. So, I'm pouring some iced tea here, some unsweetened tea. Um, for those of you who are new to the channel, what I like to do is every 1,000 subscriber special, do a every 1,000 subscribers, which is about every 2.5, 3 weeks, we go and we answer subscriber questions, AMA. Try and give you some feedback, some mentoring, whatever it is that you need. You want to know my opinion about something, we can talk about anime if you want. It doesn't really, I don't really care what we talk about, but usually I try to give you an outlet to pick my brain. And that's what it's a combination of saying, hey, to the 1,000 of you that are new to the channel, thank you. And to the, those of you who have been here, the first 18,000, thank you as well. So we're about 5 or 10 away, but I had some time to do this today. So we're going to take an hour or so and answer any questions and pat ourselves on the back a little bit about a long road. 19,000 subscribers isn't a lot to some people. It's a lot to me. So let me turn the AC on real quick because I'm already burning up. James, I did get your email. I haven't had a chance to respond back to it, but I'll answer you right now. So James emailed me. I've been talking about the developer box or the coding box. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to call it yet. That I'm going to be starting. Think Loot Crate, but developer stuff. That's the gist of it. And he was asking, hey, I like the idea. Is there any way I can get involved in terms of maybe getting some resume experience or anything like that? And I'm not quite sure yet how that would work because I'm going to be using a third-party platform. Now I have my own site and everything, but in the interest of time, I'm going to do very little to no coding unless I need to customize the platform at all. But James, I would like to be able to have some subscribers be able to help out in one way or another with the site. And if I think of something, I'll definitely let you know, James. I appreciate the interest, and right now we're not far along enough to be there. Ali Oscar, hello. But I would like to. Let me see if I can find something to get us there. Too early on in the process to say though. Today's video that went out. For those of you who don't know, I'm trying to upload a video a day. I haven't been doing it as much because of what happened with my hand, which is healing nicely. It may look, you can see the wrist here where they took the skin. It's got a little scar and a little scab, but the finger is actually healing nicely. If you look that right there and it sees a little pink, that's actually skin that wasn't there a couple days ago. So it's healing. I have my follow-up visit in about 2 weeks. I imagine that it will have scabbed over and everything will be good, and your boy will be at 100%, not have to worry about his finger any longer, right? It's been a long ordeal. I'm going to change shirts real quick. All right. Sorry about that. I was burning up in that shirt. But April and I, we decided to treat ourselves, and we went to a movie theater matinee. It's been a while. We saw Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Very good movie. But then again, it's basically every Marvel movie is good if you like Marvel movies. So that's kind of the gist of it. What happened to my hand? I injured my hand opening a jar, and it ripped the skin off my finger, and then it didn't heal properly. And what happened was my blood vessel actually got damaged, and it created what's called it's a very specific type of granuloma. So instead of patching it, it actually just started growing outside the blood vessel. So I had to get first I had to get surgery on my finger here, and the skin for my wrist, they had to actually cut skin out of my wrist here to to patch the hole where the skin was, because the granula made it so wide that they couldn't stitch it together. So that's what they had to do there, and they had to go in and cut it out, seal the blood vessel, and it cost quite a bit of money. All in all, even with insurance, it cost about $1,600 for the visits and for the surgery and everything, and the pain that went along with it. So I've been debating doing a video about it. I've talked about it quite a bit because I do some live streams and dived into it and but I've been going back and forth about whether or not I should do a video kind of explaining what was going on, what happened, and maybe trying to add a message to it about putting yourself in a situation in life where $1,600 isn't going to make or break you. It's going to hurt, but at least you know, when you're making money, save money, guys. That's kind of what the message would be, so that you are prepared for these things. The average family I saw recently, if a $700 medical expense or car bill came their way, they wouldn't have the money to pay for it. That's the average family, and that's if something like 65% or 63%. That's troubling, right? So I don't want to be in that position. I've been broke too long, and so I'm kind of almost traumatized to a degree, where I invest and save right now 21% of my income. I'm increasing by 1% per check, and so I'm going to do that until I can't anymore, up to 50%. So we'll see. Because I've been so broke that I'm like stockpiling my money, investing it so that it can help make a little bit of money, and hope that I'm financially independent one day for various reasons, but mainly just not have the stress about being broke. So it's part of what motivated me to be a developer. I love to code, but I also love an industry that's growing and salaries that have been proven to grow, and an in-demand skill set, which is, which is one of the reasons although I don't appreciate art and like painting as a path, I do appreciate the grind for those who choose to make it a profession, because it is a grind if you're doing something creative nowadays, whether it's writing a book, becoming a painter, being a musician. It's one of those things where you have to not only be passionate about it, but you have to hustle to find a way to make money with it. Software is different. You don't necessarily have to be passionate about it. It's going to help if you are in any field. But in terms of making money, you have a salary. It's not that easy if you really want to be a writer, an artist, and there's some respect to that. So Sukram Amit says, hey, when is the live stream with April? I'm missing it every day. Maybe it's too late at my time for me in Sweden. So we typically do it at somewhere between 5 and 6 Eastern Standard Time. So I don't know what time that is for you, Sweden, but that typically is when we do our live streams with Danny Benton says, first-time programmer since Basic. We got an OG in here today. Good for you, Danny. I am interested in designing web applications that are the most flexible but easiest to pick up language you could recommend. It's probably the same language that most boot camps are teaching, which is JavaScript. What you may want to look into is the entire mean stack, because you'll need all of it to build a fully functional web application, a front end and a back end. That's MEAN. Also the MERN stack, which you just swap out the Angular in that for React. Now, in terms of what that all entails, the mean stack traditionally is MongoDB with a Mongoose package, which is a node package to help streamline things a bit. And that's a NoSQL database, so that's your database. The difference between a relational database and a NoSQL database, relational is more the traditional ones. It uses tables and it relates things in columns and rows. And a NoSQL database is more of a document-oriented database. And then you have Express. So that's the M is the MongoDB Mongoose. Express is kind of the framework, if you will, for the back end. Then you have Angular, which now they have Angular 2, 3, 4. I think they're up to 4 now. And you can switch out Angular for React depending on your preferences. Both are great things to learn. React might be a little bit easier. And then you have Node, which is the backend that works with Express, and they all work hand in hand, but it's all JavaScript, and you're learning more frameworks than anything else. And so that would be the easiest language to pick up for a full stack of skills, because you only have to really learn one language. Let's see here. What programs do I use to record, edit, and stream for your channel? So what we're streaming on right now is just the YouTube built-in Google Hangout. I do this with my interviews and it's called an event, technically. But if you want to do a live stream, you have a little bit more control. I traditionally have set these up as events. I forgot to time it. So to be honest, I didn't realize we were so close to 19K until I looked at it today. I thought we were maybe 18.5, 18.6, but we're growing pretty fast, as is our Facebook group. If you haven't joined our Facebook group, Code Tech and Caffeine, the link is in the description. That's growing as fast as my channel almost at this point. And so it took us a little while to get to 1,000. It took us like 2 months to get to 1,000. And I think in 2 weeks, we got to 1,600 from there. So we're growing pretty fast, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down. But in terms of what programs I use OBS, which is the open broadcast software to record my screen shares. And then in terms of what I edit with is Premiere Pro, although I don't do too much editing. And what I make my animations with, or like my intros and my outros, that's usually a combination of Premiere Pro and Adobe After Effects. And streaming, I use OBS as well. OBS is a streamer's application. I just use it for screen recording. Corey Speck says, "Hey, how's it going? I love your videos. First time I caught you live. Thanks, man. I hope they help you out. I can't always promise the quality of my videos because I have always been learning. I use Codecademy as Codecademy and Free Code Camp as a way for me to learn a skill set and explain my thought process as I solved them. So sometimes you see me struggling through it, and I think there's benefits to that, but not everybody enjoys that. They just want you telling the answers and not see you grind through it. I'm glad you find it helpful. Oh man, so those of you who don't know, I have since the age of 17, I have drank. And to put it in perspective, I'm 29 right now. I'll be 30 in October. I have drank Monsters somewhere between, on average, 2, sometimes 3 a day, Monsters, since I was about 17, in terms of energy drinks. And there's been 1 or 2 months where I've stopped. But I promised April that I would stop drinking them. And so as of a week and a half ago, I've stuck by it. And so you'll see me drinking things that are a little healthier for me, like unsweetened tea. I also will have the occasional 5-hour energy in the morning and other ways of getting my caffeine and stuff in there, try to eat healthier. But I will tell you that after the first week or so, I've been having headaches and I've been a little grumpy. If somebody watched the live stream yesterday, I got a little grumpy at April not paying attention, and people are giving me shit about that. I shouldn't have. But that might have been part of it. But after about another week, I should stop having headaches and things like that. And I can maybe cut back my caffeine a little bit. But I'm always trying to improve myself in one way or the other. In this case, this is kind of a health change because I've been drinking Monsters for over a decade and energy drinks daily for over a decade. So it's a nice little health change for me. When my finger is fully healed, I'll start exercising once more. I focused so long on getting a developer job that I've ignored things like my health and my body. And now it's time to refocus some things in that direction while still, of course, focusing on code. But now I'm coding 40 hours a week as a job. So I'm always going to be focused on code. But just a little side note about what's going on in my life. Oh. Let's see here. So what questions do you guys have? My Ask a Dev series is when I try to depart my knowledge on what I think would be beneficial, but sometimes I don't get, I can't. sometimes there's questions that are so specific that I can't make a video about it because it is so unique to your case. That's not to say people can't learn from it, but usually that's the case. But so if there's a question like that and you want to maybe elaborate in a paragraph or so about something going on in your life that you would like my opinion about, I'd be happy to guide you to the best of my ability. If not, how have you guys been enjoying the Ask a Dev videos? I've now officially put up 42 of them. 42 videos going over everything I can think of. Today's video was more of a story time video talking about, it's 18 minutes long, so it's quite a long video. Knowing your worth as a developer. This is talks about 2 points in my life when I was disrespected by someone who was interviewing me, and just trying to sharing that. And I enjoy doing the videos. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I actually go back and I watch them to make sure that I think they're honest and true. Because sometimes you say things and you don't. So sometimes I'll record these 2, 3, 4 times to make sure that everything I'm explaining is how I meant it to be said. Can you use sessions with a RESTful API? Yes, you can. Social artists, you like today's video? Good. I have 1 or 2 more stories like that coming up, but not too many. That was probably one of the more profound 2 days of my life. Just thinking back on it, and really happy to see that I succeeded where I wanted to go, even though it was hard to a degree. Yeah, Jordan, if you're using sessions with a RESTful API, if you're building one, that is, you may need to use a Express package called Passport, and you can use OAuth sessions like that. It's what I am using for my the project I'm building right now, or I was building. This is what's crazy. I was so close to finishing the voting application that I know I'm going to have to go back and do it one more time. Good to hear people talking about money sometimes. Yeah, it was a little bit about money. I don't try to dive too much into finances because a lot of times it can be misconstrued as coming off cocky or coming off as a, I don't know, greedy person, and I don't try to do that. But I do think that you should know your worth, right? And sometimes you have to just say cold hard facts about what it is and what it came down to, at least that for me. And so that's kind of why I talk about what I made at the time, what I was making at before I started. What is easiest to learn, back end or front end? So front end, I actually have a video coming out in a couple days. Stefan MG discussing just that. Which one would I learn first and why? Godless Monkey, I'm good, man. And thank you again for buying the book for April. It's supposed to arrive someday today, Amazon says, and she's going to get started with it right away. Why are you moving? Couple of reasons. One, I signed a 7-month lease here because I actually rented this place out before April was down, and it's about a 25-minute drive to work. So for a place that is a 10-minute drive to work, we are paying $50 more a month, getting an extra bedroom, and it's only a 10-minute drive. It's 5 miles away from my work, and on top of it, it's 30% bigger. But that's why we're moving, to be closer to my work, as well as we have a slightly larger place. That's really it. That guy was being so generous with his offers he's helping you out. I would, you know what, man? I wish I had recorded the conversation, and I don't know, man. It was an inner, like, even now, it's been probably 2-3 years at this point, and it's still so vivid. Everything about it is a very vivid memory because it's so weird the moment I got there. And I say this as somebody who has gone on several interviews that I haven't been qualified for. I think that's part of it. I've got a lot of interviews and second interviews and third interviews where they have not wanted to hire me. Or they wanted to do contract to hire. I was willing to do that, or whatever it may be. And so I know there's a good way to let a potential candidate down and a bad way. And if he wasn't there telling me how I was so unqualified, I would have assumed that I wasn't getting an offer. But it's so weird to be like, you know what, you ain't shit. We're gonna make you shit potentially. It was a weird experience, but that's the guy hadn't changed in 2 years. So contract to hire, what are the negative effects? So I've talked about this a couple times in the past, and recruiters, a lot of recruiters, at least in my experience, and this has been something that has only been happening for 9 months, but I think I can speak to this right now, is that recruiters a lot of times are looking for contract to hire positions, because oftentimes the way it works, not always, but oftentimes the way it works is you actually get hired by the recruiting agency, and they'll say, okay, well, we'll buy you for this amount of money, and then we're actually gonna, once we have a placement, we'll sign it. You sign a contract with us, and then at 6 months or 3 months, they decide if they want to keep you, and then you go and actually work for that company. That's a lot of how that works. So contract to hire has a couple negative things. One, you may not have a job at the end of the contract. So you sign a 3-month contract, and you know, it's pitched to you that that's your evaluation period, essentially, that you may not have a job. That's a huge negative. And it's hard getting a job, right? Even though you have recruiters reaching out to you, you got to do interviews, you got to take algorithm tests, you have to find the right fit, you have to find an offer that you agree with, right? So if you're in a salaried position like me, and mind you, I've talked about this where I take recruiter calls, and I answer their questions, and I'm very cordial, and I tell them I'm not looking, but I'm happy to have a conversation until, you know, maybe I lose my job. So I take these calls, and I talk with these people probably on a weekly basis. I would say I have at least one phone call on a weekly basis. Now, as a salaried developer, I don't think I would leave my job for a contract to hire position, because I'm in a position where I have benefits. I have paid vacation, and I have the security of knowing that if they do let me go for whatever reason, I have unemployment. If you're contract to hire, there is no unemployment. A lot of times, depending on the contract to hire, if you're going through an agency, you may not have health insurance or benefits or 401k, and you may not have any sick days at all. 0 sick days, 0 paid holidays. But that depends, but it leans towards having less benefits. But the big thing is you may not get hired, and you may be unemployed in 3 months. And it's not that you're going to have unemployed, because remember, you're a contract position. So after your 6 months are up, you're done. So that's a big thing. So a lot of these recruiters, in my experience, are looking to do contract to hire for these companies. And I would never sign a contract that was less than a year in a position. Most of them are 3 to 6 months. It's very rare that you get a year contract to hire. And you're also, by the way, paying more in taxes, because you're not an employee. You're a 1099 or whatever a contract position is, which means you pay basically double in taxes because your employer is not paying that part. So there's a lot of financial issues with that as well. That does mean that you can argue for a higher salaried rate as well, but you may not get it. So I'll give you an example. I talked with a company, a contract place, and they said, hey, we were interested. Disney in Orlando is hiring for an AngularJS developer. Would you be interested? We saw your resume. We think you'd be a good fit. You're a little bit on the junior end for what they're looking for, but you never know. And I said, okay. What are the details? Let's talk details, right? You would work for us technically for the first 6 months, and at the end, Disney would renew your contract for a year if they wanted to keep you. So every year I'd have to worry about my job getting renewed. I said, okay, what are my benefits? They're like, well, you get our health insurance. We pay 3/4 of it. So automatically for my health insurance, I'd be taking a hit. So right now I pay $0 for medical and dental. Now that's the base package, but I pay $0. So assuming everything's equal, every month already I'm losing $100, give or take, right? $50 a paycheck. It could be $100 a paycheck. I don't know. It depends on how good their insurance is, but we'll say $100. So for the year, I've already taken a $1,200 hit. Now, my work currently pays, I think it's 14 PTO days and 10 paid holidays. So I have 25 days of pay at the end of the day. And so I said, okay, what's the PTO and the paid holidays? They say, we don't offer any, right? And so, and it's just one company, every technical recruiter company is different. So they say, we don't offer any. I say, okay, so if you estimate that roughly 24 days, which is 5 weeks of work, right? We'll say 25 days, round it to that, which is 5 weeks of work, 5 full paid days I have to get paid on top of it. So I take a $1,200 hit. We'll say that I make $300 a day pre-tax, something like that. Now I have to, what does that come out to? $1,500 for 5 days times 5. So that's $6,000 hit right there. So now we're down $7,200, of which we just have to get that in terms of a salary increase. And we're just talking numbers, right? Generalized numbers right now. We're not, but this is a situation. I've had this conversation with the recruiter. And so I need $7,200 to break even. But we just talked about taxes, about paying twice the amount of taxes because you're a contract now. And because you're a contract, your employer is not paying that part of your taxes. So you're paying twice the amount of taxes. So we'll double that. We'll say that $7,200 is now $7,200. So we'll say about $14,000 hit right now if we were to go in at the same amount. So in order for me to break even, I need a $14,000 raise. And on top of that, I want more money because I'm now contract to hire. In 6 months, I may have to look for a job and be unemployed. So I need, let's say, $15,000 on top of that. And because I'm paying, I want to make a premium as a contract employee, and you should, because you're not a salaried employee. You should be paid a premium because there's no job security at the end of it, at least in terms of unemployment. So now, in order for me to feel comfortable, I need not only the $14,000 to make up the lost income in terms of real income, right? I need the $15,000 on top of that, or the we'll say $10,000 on top of that, just because in 6 months I may not have a job. So contract to hire and by the way, that's different with every company, again, with the benefits and what they offer. Some companies will pay for your health insurance, and some companies will pay for, it just depends on the technical recruiting agency. But in this specific instance, I need to ask for $25,000 more as a developer moving to a contract position, even though it was for a great company like Disney in a nice city in Orlando, which doesn't include any relocation or anything like that in this case. But with that being said, so we talked about the cons of contract to hire, and thank you for bringing that up, because I'm gonna actually make a video basically saying what I said there and talk about the pros and the cons. Pros and cons of contract to hire. Cool. So the easiest and best stack to learn, in my opinion, is the mean stack if you're talking about web development. So I went on for a second. So what did Django versus Ruby on Rails? I would say Django because it's Python based, right? And Python's a little bit more in and on the incline, while Ruby on Rails is either stagnant or kind of on the decline, depending on what stats you look at. But generally speaking, Ruby on Rails is easier. Front end seems easy at first, but then I have to deal with package management, browser compatibility, and so on. I feel discouraged. Don't worry about it, man. I feel discouraged all the time, and I'm a professional, which feels kind of weird to say, right? I am a professional, and it's part of you becoming a developer is accepting your limitations and saying, okay, this is where I'm bad. Now let me spend time to become good at it. One thing that I'm trying to get better at is CSS. And you say, damn, Dylan, you're a salary developer and you have CSS issues? Yes, I do. Because I focus a lot on JavaScript and not so much on styling. So I'm trying to get better. I became dependent on Angular Material and Bootstrap and things like that. Only one of my advanced algorithm projects work? My calculator's addition doesn't work. I'd have to check it through, but they all worked when I was doing it. It's been a while since I've touched those, so I'll have to look at it again to see if I need to do an update to those. I don't have any plans to. If I do, I probably redo it in Angular, something different, and I'll catch any issues I have there. But also, the point of the projects aren't really for you to copy it so much as me explain my logic. And based off that logic, you should be able to, if I have something that's breaking, you should be able to have the skill to fix it on your end at this point, because you've seen the logic to get everything to work and how I do things. So hopefully you can use that to at least guide you to the correct solution. So if I am to be a mean stack developer, I despise PHP, as do I. As do I. Should I continue learning mean and wait for a job opening, or swap mean for PHP? If you can't relocate, you might want to just learn both. That would be my advice. Start building. And what would be a good example is building, JJHH, no worries, man. It's all good. My advice is build your full stack mean application and then copy the front end and build the same functionality in PHP. So you can kind of understand the thought process of your Node and your Express application, and then re-emulate that in PHP, which is something I think is a great way of going about it. Because when you're learning a framework or you're learning a language like jQuery, and that's why I built it. That's why when I wanted to learn Angular, I rebuilt some free codecamp projects in Angular, because I already kind of had the basic logic figured out, and I needed to emulate that in Angular. And it makes the learning curve a little bit less. Is there such a thing? One second, let me sit down here. Is there such a thing as going too fast in free code camp? I really want to find the right pace. I work 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. 5 days a week and trying to figure out the best sleep schedule while learning full time. I don't think there's anything wrong with going fast if you're actually learning. And when you finish free code, there's so much to do in free code camp. You have the front end, you have the back end, and when the beta comes out, you can jump over to the beta right now and check that out if you actually finish everything up. But there has not been one person who has actually completed all the curriculum. That means all the part-time projects with the nonprofit projects and stuff like that. So I think you probably have plenty to do. But if you're just talking about finishing the front end, no, man, I think you should power through to the best of your ability. And from there, just continue making your own stuff and learning and doing what you can. Russ Wilkie, I hope you're the first one, man. I hope you all are. I'm working towards it, man. I work on free code camp stuff almost every day, except the last few weeks. But yeah, man, I'll be there with you. Attempting the impossible. But yeah. The thing is, I learned best with the lectures like April, and that's why I'm loving the series. Daniel Colangelo asks, does anybody know some good PHP resources? Never touched it before, but I'm going in for a second interview next week, and of course they use PHP. My advice is check out Code Course. He has a YouTube channel. He's been doing PHP for 8 years. If you go to codecourse.com, he actually has his own courses, and he has hundreds of like 2-3 hour courses going over PHP and a bunch of other stuff. I would imagine that he has a lot going on there. Yeah, so what's really funny about this is I have been coding for so long now, it feels like, that to a degree I'm losing things that I have accepted as fact and how like stuff works in code. It is so strange to see somebody who's just getting started, like April, ask questions that wouldn't even occur to me in my brain, right? And so like how did you get to that question? And you get to see some of those moments when we do these tutoring sessions, because like I don't even know sometimes how she gets there mentally. And that's not saying that she's dumb or bad or anything, but it's just so crazy because I feel like I've been doing this so long now that maybe I've lost some perspective about where, when people get started, how they can get going, I guess. And like how you have to build those sort of fundamental building blocks in your brain of like for loops and things like that. Like it makes sense to me. It goes once and then it goes again until it doesn't go, right? And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Do I tutor? Yes, I do. If we were to go to my website, although I've been doing a lot more mentoring than tutoring lately, but a lot of people want to have like one-on-one sessions and stuff like that. But if you go to my website here, codingtutorials360.com/tutor, this is the first website I ever built in Angular. Pretty happy with it. But I charge $75 a session, which is about an hour. So we can talk about whatever you want. Some people just want me to work through free code camp with them or Codecademy or anything else like that. And some people just want some mentoring where they want to ask their questions about boot camps or how to prepare, or whatever it is. But that's what I charge. I charge $75 for an hour for the tutoring. How to accept the NASA HPFCC program challenge. What is that? Check that out. A 15,000 prize if you can speed up its simulation code. All right. What book did April get? One Godless Monkey donated for her to get a new way to learn JavaScript or something like that. It hasn't arrived yet. I'd have to check the Amazon to make sure. Have I learned anything about data structures and algorithms like merge sorts and binary searches? A long time ago when your boy was in school, I learned that stuff. I don't think I have any of it retained, so I'd have to relearn it. Which would probably be something I would start studying about a month out if I was looking for a different job. Just because there are a lot of those algorithm tests that are tragic, but part of the process sometimes. JJJJHHH says, what do you think about, what do you think if I take an offer at a startup to get paid minimum wage, just get my foot in the door? I just finished a free code camp front-end cert. I think there's nothing wrong with it if you can afford that. But my suggestion is take it, get that resume experience, and the whole, literally from week one that you're there, apply. Like elsewhere. Apply elsewhere and get a job that pays you better. That's my advice. Unless you're getting equity at the company, that's a little bit different. But in terms of getting that resume experience, great idea. That will really help your career out. But you could probably do better, to be honest with you. But if I were in your situation where I could afford to take minimum wage and I just wanted a developer position to get the resume experience, I would do it. And then the whole time from week one, I would be applying elsewhere. I'd be talking to recruiters. I'd be doing the whole thing. And they ask you why you're looking elsewhere, just tell them I'm getting paid minimum wage and I just wanted to get the resume experience. Just be honest about it. You have to speed up the code by a factor of 10 to 100 in the NASA challenge. 10 to 100 seems like a bit. But to put it in perspective, JH, I call you JH, I didn't finish the front-end certificate before I got hired. I get paid 5 times as much as minimum wage. I don't know what I get paid. Something around there. Somewhere between 4 and 6 times as much as minimum wage. So are there certain project types you favor when it comes to coding? Right now, just full stack applications. I want to build as many full stack apps as I can, just because that's the skill set I want to work on. I always like building stuff in the skill set I want to work on. Call me whatever you want, darling. All right. But JH, what to give you what I told April that around 30, 40 days in, once she starts doing things in JavaScript and she has a couple things built, to go and see if she can even get an unpaid internship or a minimum wage internship at a web design place to start getting resume experience and going in that same direction. So you know, it just depends on the financial situation you're in, as well as like a lot of what I don't want to happen for you is to accept the job, make minimum wage, and then be there for a year. From day one, you're filling out apps every day after work. You're building your skill set, and at maybe 3 months, you finally land a job that pays you a respectable wage. If it doesn't have it 3 months, it'll have it by 6 months. But you continue working, and the whole time you're gaining resume experience, you're building your skills, you're getting better, and you're going to triple, quadruple your income by doing that. Any tips on getting a programmer's mindset for a non-programmer that wants to become a full stack developer? The main thing is to code every day. Start visualizing things, find groups, become part of the community, start meeting people who code, start pair programming. You just got to dive all in. Every day you code though. That's why when I'm teaching April to code and she's coding on her own, it's 100 days. 100 days of coding every day. We're at day 12 today. And let me tell you, I'm getting tired. She's getting tired. But once you kind of get to day 30, it's already part of your life. And you just continue living. Like, that's it. So you just got to power through. You got to code daily. And you have to have an idea of what you want to do. And start applying for jobs early on. You'll learn a lot just going by interviews. You'll learn a lot just by building projects and continue on, man. So just power through, code daily, and really start to try and make it a part of your life rather than like a task, I guess. Watch videos daily on it, read articles, maybe start listening to podcasts if that's your thing. Watch channels like the videos I put out, like today, how to know your worth as a developer. Part of me putting a video out every day is me to reflect upon things that I've learned in my life and share them with you and start thinking. Someone asked about contract to hire. We had a great discussion about contract to hire early. And so, once you get in that sort of daily daily routine, and that could be in a variety of ways. That could be going to meetups every Wednesday and joining a free code camp meetup. That could be going to hackathons. That could be watching coding videos on YouTube. And that could be actually coding, right? And so you just have to dive full in and start picking up little pieces here or there. But mainly the main thing is just a code. Like a lot of people think there's a secret. There's not a secret. Code. That's it. Code all the time and code every day. And enjoy it, right? So like, I'll give you an example of one thing that I do that helps me enjoy coding, and that's YouTube, right? YouTube, in my case, I thoroughly enjoy YouTube, and it reminds me that I'm a developer. I need to code. I need to get better and find a way to enjoy it. In terms of YouTube, I'm at the point now that I don't think it does too much for my career as a developer because I'm already hired. The point of me starting my channel was to go from unemployed to employed. I am now employed. So one way I have fun with it is like, yeah, I could go and have like these great thumbnails, but instead I just put a picture of me having my surgery like this, and I have fun with it, add some personality, and I enjoy that sort of stuff. It's just a small way that I can enjoy it and still get better as a developer, because you learn a lot about yourself thinking back about the past and things like that. But that's unique to me, right? That's unique to how I enjoy being a developer and things like that. Let's see. If you can't afford shared web hosting and a domain, would you say it's acceptable to throw your website on a free service? Would employers take it seriously? I think they would. But you could probably buy a URL for $1 on GoDaddy with a coupon. And then you could, that's what I bought mine for. I think it was $1 for the first year. And then it's like $4 or $7 a month. So you can afford it. I have no doubt. When it's costing you $8 a month to host your own website, it's not a bad idea. And also it gives you a lot more, gives you a better way of showing your portfolio than having to link to code pins and things like that if needed. Is starting as a web designer a good move, or will people label you as a web designer forever? See, it's not a bad idea, but you have to, while you're working as a web designer at work, come home and be a web developer. You need to be learning JavaScript. You need to be learning jQuery. You need to be learning Angular. You need to be learning React. And then once you have some of those, and while you're learning them, you need to be learning the back end. And then once you kind of have a good JavaScript foundation, before you even learn the back end, you're applying for jobs because you have resume experience that's relevant. It's not perfect, but it's relevant. And now you're trying to make the jump. It's a natural jump. But you have to be, no one's going to make you go from a web designer to a web developer. You have to do that. No one's out there to accomplish your goals but you. And if your goal is to work right now as a web designer to eventually work as a web developer, you need to go and you have to work to get there, because no one's just going to naturally kick you up the ladder if that's the case. Like you have to really go there on your own. And this is like something I think a lot of people think is going to happen, that someone's going to deliver your dream. Your dream is your dream, and you have to work towards it. And that goes in your personal and professional life as well. But I don't know. You can always just change your title too. Literally just change your title to web developer on LinkedIn or on your portfolio. It may be a little bit shady, but it is what it is. Oh, man. By the way, guys, for the 35 or so of you that are in here, if you haven't already, please do join our Facebook group, Code Tech and Caffeine. The link is in the description below. It's a great resource to stay focused. As we were just talking about, like the hardest thing is stay focused. I highly encourage you to join the group. You can meet other like-minded individuals who are sharing resources on a daily basis. and giving feedback and helping out any way they can, myself included. Any tips for internships because I'm applying? Let's see. At the end of the day, what you really have to do is, one, have a nice looking portfolio on LinkedIn. It's the same thing for applying for jobs. And have a portfolio site so that they can look at things that you have done and really sell the fact that you're eager to learn, because that's what they're looking for. Be social, work on your public speaking skills. A lot of times what will set you apart is just being someone who they think they can work with, someone that they want to be around, because they're going to have to teach you. They're going to have to mentor you, but just try and be likable, try and be relaxed, and just do all the basic other stuff that's expected. Dress appropriately, business casual, or just straight up business. Show that you're eager, man. That's really it. It's just one of those things. And be prepared to have a basic skills test. Hey man, I know it sounds weird. Do you think it's a definite turnoff to employers? I don't have a Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, no. LinkedIn, absolutely. You're going to have about 2 times as hard of a chance landing a job. Who is your fundamentals of computer science teacher? I don't even remember, man. I do not even remember slightly. Oh, shit. Our boy Engineer Truth tried to give us a call. Thank you, Rav404. Yeah, man, we've been working hard on the channel. We're at 19K. It's pretty impressive, man. The goal is 100. I'll be honest with you. I want 100K. That's what I want. I feel like 100K, I get that verified check, that big dick check. It's like I'm pushing fucking subs on YouTube check mark, and you got a little weight behind you. You're walking with a limp because, yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. But I want 100K, man. Ichiro says, I liked your worth video. It's pretty good. Yeah, man, I try to. So one thing I try to do in my Ask a Dev videos is I try to relate it to experiences in my life. I don't want to talk about advice so much as tell you my thought process and things that have happened to me and what I've learned from them, and then you do with it what you will, right? I hate people who say, this is the only way, this is right, I'm 100% right. You don't know what you're talking about. I just want to tell you what I've tried and what has worked for me. And so the knowing your worth video is kind of how I just tell you what happened to me in my life, man. I don't know how else to put it. And I want you to learn from my mistakes. You love my foul language? I don't swear too much, do I? I don't know, man. The Stinky Lake Check, 100K subs. David Yang, welcome. I don't know, man. I just try to be myself. If I had to watch my language on YouTube, I don't know. I think I can drop an F-bomb every now and again, right? I should have told the web design shop CEO to suck a fat one. I don't think you can call yourself a CEO. He's just an owner of the shop. What is a JS Ninja? JavaScript Ninja is what that stands for. Is it enough to be a JavaScript developer, like a full stack JavaScript developer? I mean, yeah. But as a developer, you're always going to, like, once you have the skill set of full stack JavaScript stacked up, you're gonna be attracted to learn other things. Like, I am really attracted to learning Python because it's on the up and up. So once I feel good with the back end of the mean stack, you guys are going to see some Python tutorials. Like, you're going to see some Python algorithms and things like that. So it all just depends. You have to go where you're, and mind you, it may take you a year or two to get there, but in a 20-year career, you could learn 10 languages if you spent 2 years, or be proficient enough, work in them. So it just depends, man. You assassinate code at night? Yo, man. Any developer will tell you don't assassinate the code assassinates you, man. How about this for an idea? Ask you of types of devs you expect to meet. That wouldn't be a bad one. I'll put that on the note here. See, that's what I'm talking about, Corey. Good for you, man. A little background on Corey. Says, hey, a little background on me. I quit Walmart, getting paid at a local casino, landed a $28 an hour job by dressing up for the interview and telling them I'm willing to hustle. There you go, man. And, like, in a dev interview, especially in a junior role, you're going to have some skills, but you're also going to have to just prove that you're hustling and that you're learning and you're doing this daily, right? You gotta want it, man. And you have to. They have to see that you want it. You can't just say that you want it. Words are cheap. And so when I had and this is one thing that has stuck in my mind. If you're in here, I don't mean to pick on you or anything like that, but this is a good example. One of my subscribers asked me during the last live stream or some live stream, "Hey Dylan, I really want to learn to code, but how do I stop playing so many video games and go to coding?" You don't want it bad enough. That's the truth of the matter is, if you wanted it bad enough, you would do it. You would find a way. I had an issue with gaming and stuff like that. I got rid of my game systems. I sold them. I put them at my mom's house. I got rid of them. Out of the house. I uninstalled all the games on my PC, and I just focused on school, or focused on code. So I don't know. Like, a lot of people are very, very... like, words are cheap. You don't want to learn code that bad. You don't want to learn to be a developer that bad if you're getting distracted by League of Legends, if you're getting distracted by Call of Duty. Like, maybe you haven't hit your so-called rock bottom that you're okay at where you're at life, and you're gonna play Call of Duty. And it's not that I'm trying to pick on this gentleman, but this is, that's the reality of the situation. Is, if you wanted it bad enough, you would hustle every day until you got there. There would be no gaming. There would be no, but that is something completely in an individual's control. Whether they hire you or not, that's somewhat out of your control. You can only build yourself to be put in the best situation possible. You can only do the most educated guess. But if you're saying, hey, I spend my time doing this instead of I really want to do this, no, you don't. You'd rather do this. That's just the truth of the matter, which is why you're fucking doing it. So if you're in that situation, you just need to get your focus, man. You may have to change your lifestyle. For me, I had to stop going to the gym. I had to stop dating. I had to stop a whole mess of shit. And I just came home every day and I coded 4 hours before bed and 10 hours on the weekends and plus. And I just gave up everything else, man, until I got to where I was going to go. And I remember having conversations with April when, we got back together. She's like, well, what if this doesn't work out? All right, like at a year, what do you mean doesn't work out? I'm fucking getting there one way or another. So it's it may not work out tomorrow, but this shit's working out. There was no doubt in my mind I'd be a developer at some point. I don't know when. I just know I was working every day to be one step closer to it, and I'd get there. And I may have to do that unpaid internship. I may have to do that minimum wage internship. I may have to go and do freelance and do all this shit. But it'd just be one step closer to where I wanted to be. There was not 6 months we're backing out, a year we're backing out. No, we're getting there. And just start trucking, because that was my entire focus. I put my mind on it, I put my energy towards it, and I put my time towards it. There's no way I'm not accomplishing it. Every day is one step closer to me trying to accomplish what I want. So Rav404 says, any thoughts on a top 5 series or top 5 devs you meet, top 5 languages? I've seen a lot of these coding channels do this, and I've thought about it. It's been in the back of my mind. So JH says, hey, I was a construction worker by day, pizza delivery driver by night. I was a pizza delivery driver by night as well. So I understand that. I had 3-4 jobs at one time while I was learning code, man. So you got to be in that hustle. But for the top 5s, yeah, I might do something like that in the future. Okay. So Russ Wilkie says, I love to code, but there are days where I just have a hard time wanting to code coming home from work after coding all day. What do you want? Well, if you're already coding all day, I understand that. What do you want? How do you deal with coding burnout? Well, for me, I had a video talking about how I know I'm about to burn out. I think that's important. But it's okay to take a day off if you're already a developer. It really is. But you have to instead use your time to better yourself. And that could be something like maybe you write a blog, maybe you do a YouTube video, maybe you do coding in a different fashion where instead of you actually going down and coding, maybe you share some resources, you read up on stuff, you follow the trends. It all just depends, man. But try and be productive in another manner that on the days that you're a little bit tired. And I understand that happens to the best of us, especially as a developer, right? You work 8-10 hour days and you come home and you're like, fuck, I promised myself an hour to my side project. So it can be difficult, but sometimes you just got to power through. With that being said, I've talked about things that I learned in the last 6 months being a developer is that there were weekends where I coded like I did before, where I coded 2 10-hour days. And then I coded Saturday 10 hours, Sunday 10 hours, and I showed up Monday and I wasn't refreshed. So there's a difference between burning yourself out like that and just steady 1 hour a day side project. So maybe code less, but steady. But you have to be aware of what your limits are at the same time. Eddie says he quit his job to focus more on coding. Feels good, man. Good for you, man. Good luck with that. It was either quit the gym or quit my job. I definitely quit the job. Hey, everyone's got a different preference, right? No dating, no going out, Monk. I'm not bullshitting you, man. You can talk to Engineered Truth about this. When we both lived in LA, I was always trying to hustle and YouTube and coding. That was all I did. I didn't go out. He'd invite me out. I said, nah, man, I got to code. I'm trying to finish this fucking algorithm, man. I got to get a job as a developer. Just in the talk. So let's see here. Badman Mike says, I saw a TED Talk where this Asian gentleman had a 2.3 GPA, failed his CS class twice, and got a job as a software engineer at Facebook. So that isn't motivation, then what is? There you go. Yeah, so instead of coding, just chill and watch me. Yeah, that's right. That's the solve it all. All right, guys. I appreciate you showing up for this 19K subscriber AMA. We do these every 1,000 subs to kind of answer questions, shoot the shit, do whatever we need to do. So basically say thank you to the 1,000 new members. So thank you for being here. And for the old 18K, you all getting old. I appreciate you all the same, the OGs. And the next AMA, you knew 19, you knew 1000, you'll be the OGs as well. But anyhow, guys, I appreciate you being here and I appreciate you watching the videos. I'll have more Ask a Devs coming out mainly on a daily basis. I'll be streaming later with April for her tutoring session. Enjoy that. The next 100 days. We are continuing on. We are in day 12 of April's 100 days of code. She's learning to be a developer, and we're trucking through. You're gonna see the good parts, the bad, and the ugly. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And you probably learned a little bit about me and her in the process. Don't forget to join our Facebook page, Code Tech and Caffeine. It's a great resource for those of you who don't know what resources to look at, how to stay up to date in coding, how to see the best memes as well. Anyhow, the link is in the description. And if you want to support me, guys, you can at patreon.com/codingtutorials360. Your money will go towards the goal of upgrading content to 4K. Has a 4K screen, so screen shares will be 4K, and a 4K webcam. That's the goal, as well as better lighting, so I don't have this sort of half pale, half dark face going on here in the future. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys a little bit later. Look forward to tomorrow's video as well. I'm going to try and make a pledge of an Ask a Dev video every day, so make sure you start commenting questions you have. I'll do my best to answer them. I'll see you guys next time. But more than anything else, stay motivated, work hard. I want you all to be a developer in whatever fashion that makes you happy. Do those side projects, do those blogs, do those YouTube channels, whatever it is. You got a dream and a goal, go for it, man. And mine happens to involve coding. I'll see you guys next time. As April would say, code long and prosper. Bye.